Hello. Yesterday I watched Stephen Greer's new show, um, and yeah, it was interesting. I don't have anything against Stephen Greer. I think he's comes across as being genuine and sincere in the stuff he says. Um, but his new show, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, um, I noticed was on Amazon Prime, so I checked it out. And yeah, it's interesting. Like he makes some big assertions in it, which he not just in this, but he doesn't really change his rhetoric. He's always talking about in most of the stuff I've seen over the years, anyway. Makes these big assertions about how true aliens, real aliens, don't abduct people, and that's staged craft. That's some kind of theatrical thing that the Black Ops dudes have got going on, and that genuine aliens, are millions, if not billions, of years ahead of us in evolution, and the compassionate, enlightened beings, and all this kind of stuff. And that any negative kinds of interactions that people have with claim to have, or any experiences they have, are not going to be with genuine aliens, because genuine aliens would never do that, and so on and so forth. Well, that's all interesting, but I would say to Stephen Greer, what do you think of the tall whites? What do you think of the Mudgeonah? Now, maybe he doesn't believe Charles Hall, and if he were to come in contact with my ideas, maybe he wouldn't believe me, or he'd think my arguments were flawed, or my case was flawed, or whatever. But he claims that the programmed life forms is part of his general spiel. And I believe that Stephen Greer is a sincere dude and all that kind of stuff. He's not on a par with people like Billy Meyer, or Corey Good, or Simon Parks. Is that his name? That guy's. Yeah. Anyway, but and he, but he and a lot of the stuff he says, I'm sure that he knows what he's talking about. And I'm a fan also of his kind of Eastern mysticism, and his idealist perspective, with consciousness being all important, with all this kind of stuff. Yeah, I am inclined to agree with all that sort of stuff. But when he makes these sort of big assertions, like there are no alien abductions, by genuine aliens, that it is programmed life forms that are involved in that. And there are no negative experiences that a person would have with a genuine alien and things like that. It's like, okay, well, I'm not quite sure how familiar he is with the notion of future human involvement. And if he is actually, with his groups, going out into the desert and utilizing meditation techniques and drawing down beings, if he's actually doing what he says he's doing, and he's sort of like bypassing the middleman, bypassing the kind of layer of elite human involvement to get the average Joe contacting and summoning and talking to and experiencing genuine aliens that are genuine aliens without any evolutionary relationship with the Earth or with us, that are from other star systems or other galaxies even. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. But it would be interesting whether he's considered the notion and the ideas relating to the future human presence, which is the most important one, I mean, maybe I'm allowing maybe he's actually contacting true aliens that have nothing to do with us and aren't future versions of us or anything like that. And that's what he's seeing, the ships in the sky when they summon them, or the photographs of sort of weird dudes floating across the immediate vicinity or whatever's going on. But humans are humans, and it takes more than 50,000 years or so of evolution, even or messing as well. Admittedly, J-Rods and Orions have been messing with their own DNA, so it's not just a process of natural evolution. They are further divorced from us in a sense because they've been fucking with their own DNA as well. But they're still humans, and they are capable of compassion and cruelty similar to what we are ourselves. They're not like the beings Stephen Greer's talking about. They are the beings that MJ12 has been talking to and making treaties with and things like that. And you could imagine that those kinds of beings that be interested in interacting with us at this kind of human level and even bothering to make treaties with us would be future versions of us. They understand us, they get us, we get them, blah, blah, blah. And these other beings, if they are visiting the Earth, like Stephen Greer and others are claiming when you do CE5, they are truly alien. And they're not the dudes our government's been, or the secret government or whatever, has been really interacting with, because if they do exist, they're totally foreign, you know. But the idea of the abductions, no true aliens performing abductions and things like that, well, it's possible that no true aliens do perform abductions, but future humans do. And that's not something that Stephen Greer is allowing into his paradigm. Let's talk about tall, fair, subterranean dwelling beings that abduct humans. They speak a whistling language. They have marvelous, incomprehensible powers. They can see the future. They can, they have a prophetic capability, prescience. And those people that associate with them can have these similar kinds of prophetic, like humans that associate with them can have like a prophetic or prescient knowledge. When interacting with them, people lose time and lose memories and things like this. That is a description of the Gaelic fairies. Okay. That's the Gaelic. That's the Gaelic fairies. Well, anyone who's familiar, you'd be forgiven if you're not familiar with the fairies, but you're familiar with Charles Hall's testimony for thinking I was talking about the tall whites. I am talking about the tall whites. Tall whites and the Gaelic fairies are the same thing. Tall whites aren't PLFs. How long have PLFs been abducting people and not for hundreds and hundreds of years? So, you got Robert Kirk writing his book, Secret Commonwealth of Elves, Fauns and Fairies. The manuscript was taken up at his death in 1692. They found the manuscript for this book. So late 17th century, we're talking about, late 1600s. And he lists a lot of the things I just mentioned, a lot of the attributes, a lot of the profile points for fairies are identical to those of tall whites, even down to the whistling languages, right? So there's one counterexample to Stephen Greer's assertion, big assertion, strong assertion. Not strong in the sense of there's a lot of evidentiary support to it, but just a big assertion, like strong in the sense of like saying something like all cats are black. And you can go, all cats are black? Really? All cats are black? I just saw one before that was white. Or you go outside and you see a grey one, you go, boom, your assertion falls. Stephen Greer says, no abductions are performed by genuine non-human entities. They're all PLFs doing it. None. Not just most of them are PLFs doing it. And when someone makes a big or strong assertion like that, it's much easier to, of course, disprove it and provide counterexamples. And they're done. Even one counterexample will do, boom, because they said none. They didn't allow anything, any tolerance. So I'll be back in... Well, I'll be back very quickly for you, but for me it'll be a few minutes. Cool. Okay. Tough believe more tying. I guess Slanakov. And I'll catch you later.